So we left the UK when she was only 9 months old.
Mm.
9 months old. Who does that? So my concerns were definitely safety for
Right.
my wife and also my daughter, but also financial safety.
Right.
And those are my only two concerns. I didn't really care much about language barriers because most communication is not verbal.
Non-verbal, you're right.
So I didn't really care much, and I know that I can.
Action. All right, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Justin, and this is a show where we talk about everything travel, digital nomad, and expat related, living abroad, whatever you want to call it. We talk about travel here. So thank you for tuning in. Today I have an exciting guest on the show. We are currently sitting in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and this is where we kind of got our start. This is where the first city that we visited outside the U.S. and said, hey, I think we can live here, and saw other families living here. So last August, I think, we were down here, and we had been following you guys for probably the past year or so on YouTube, Instagram. Y'all are the part of what gave us inspiration, seeing another family that looks like us, traveling and living nomadically. And so we're here in Playa del Carmen last August, and we're walking down the street near Playa Car, and who do we see? Road Family Travels, AJ and Shanique, and their two little ones. And I think your baby was just born, right?
Just born.
And it was just a surreal moment. You know, we hugged each other, we connected. It was our first time meeting in person. I think by then we probably connected on social channels, but
the ladies definitely would have connected.
Yeah, they definitely were connecting on social media. So it was amazing just to run into them, hear a little bit about their story. But I've never sat down and actually taken the time without the kids running around and screaming to really get to know you as a person, AJ, and hear your story. So welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Man, I feel good. I there's something special when brothers can come together and just vibe and just talk. It's beautiful having the ladies around, but there's a different perspective as a male energy coming together. So I appreciate it. So I feel good.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I agree. And we're going to get into who you are, AJ. I mean, you were a father, a husband. You've been living nomadically for the past how many years?
5 years.
5 years. You're an entrepreneur. You've been able to sustain yourself on this journey and provide for your family. So really want to just get into what inspired the move abroad, right? You hailed from Jamaica, lived in the UK, which I assume that's where you met Shanique.
That's where I met Shanique. Yes.
Yeah. And then from the UK, let's go, you have one kid. What inspired you to leave?
All right, going down the rabbit hole. So the UK is cold. I'm a tropical guy, born and raised in Jamaica, so the sun is in my system. I spent 15, 16 years in the UK, and I had enough. I went through the whole process of going to university, getting my qualifications, started businesses once I was there, met Shanique, had my first child, and after a while I just got tired. The systems in the UK, the way in which I didn't feel as though I was a part of any form of community. I didn't fit in. After 16 years, I still didn't fit in.
Yeah.
The people are cold, the place is cold, everything is cold. It's so much, it was an uprooting of my whole life from Jamaica, and it didn't replace what I had in Jamaica. I remember being in the UK, and the first encounter I had was, saying hello to someone, and they just kind of went like this. And I'm like, I looked behind me and thought to myself, was there someone behind me? And that continued throughout the UK, in my experience, that coldness. So I didn't really connect very much and feel as though it was home.
Right.
And so after a while, I just got tired. My lady got tired, and she, being who she is, she's an organizer and a researcher. She started to research because we went on holidays, went to Portugal, went to Greece for short stints.
Right.
And then every time we were there, we asked ourselves the question, what if this was just life?
Right. What are we doing in the UK?
Right? And I
Yeah.
said, and then she's like, oh, because I'm an optimistic person, I like to, entertain possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it can be. And she's like, don't start.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in possibilities. So we went back to the UK, and funny enough, whilst being in Portugal, that's where the first business idea came to fruition. I let it sit for about a couple of years, and then I started it after, I think, in my last year of uni. And so I graduated uni, and running the business for about 2 years, we just said we had enough. So every night, every day, we'd be researching the internet, Dr. YouTube, of course.
Of course.
But we didn't see anyone like us, family traveling. At that time, we didn't have any children, but we wanted to travel. Our families were telling us, listen, children need stability.
Mm-hmm.
All we knew at that time was it's crazy to travel if you want to start a family. You cannot do that. Who does that? And so we said, no, we're going to redefine what our life is. And so after many months of researching, we saw a handful of people traveling, but they were mainly solo people or couples.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, you know what, we're going to do this. So the passion began from traveling to the different places, so short stints, and just putting the question out there, why isn't this possible? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? That's where it started.
We had a similar experience because when you are kind of locked into the matrix, you don't think that you can travel for more than 2 weeks out of the year. That's the vacation time you're allotted, right?
That's it.
And so that's interesting that you all had the idea of, you wanted to start a family, and also family and friends are telling you, and all the influences are telling you can't travel with kids.
Yeah.
And you decided you wanted to be that representation.
Exactly. I want to become that idea. And then again, being a stubborn Jamaican, I'm like, freak that. Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm going to go do what I'm going to do. I'm going to define my life.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, what fears did you have specifically around leaving?
I'm a very logical person. I like to know that my family is A, safe, B, provided for. And being born and raised in Jamaica, I have certain proudness in relation to safety. And I have to ensure that roof is over our head and food is on the table.
Yeah.
And now, this time, my daughter is just 9 months. So we left the UK when she was only 9 months old. 9 months old. Who does that? So my concerns were definitely safety for my wife and also my daughter, but also financial safety.
Right.
And those are my only two concerns. I didn't really care much about language barriers because most communication is not verbal.
Non-verbal, right.
So I didn't really care much, and I know that I can do a crash course.
Right.
Dr. YouTube in any language, 24 to 72 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like most people, I think they're like, well, they're not speaking English there, or they want to start off traveling to somewhere that does speak English, and all it does is limit you to the most expensive places in the world.
Exactly.
And you can trust in yourself to learn something new.
You can.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in our experience, all the countries we've been to, let's say as far as Vietnam, right? People world over are the same. They have a set of parameters that they want to be met. They want to be happy, they want to feel loved, they want to feel safe, and they want to provide for their family. World over.
Right.
Therefore, it doesn't matter which country you go to for the vast majority of them. I'm going to put that caveat there.
Yeah.
For the vast majority of them. Majority of people want the same things. So therefore, your concerns and your fears are the same for those people too.
Very true. So you guys left the UK when your daughter was 9 months.
9 months.
Where was the first stop?
We stopped in Spain, Malaga, and this was strategic. We could have gone afield all the way to Thailand because my wife wanted to go to Thailand first. But my logical mind was strategic in that, as I said, my two concerns were safety and also safety, which boils down to personal and also financial.
Right.
And it's the latter. So I went first to study how to teach English to foreigners, mainly children. So that's how I went to Spain to study to become an English teacher.
Right.
That's how I started, and I did a crash course. It took me about a month.
1 month?
Yeah, man.
Quick. Real crash course.
Yeah,
Okay.
real crash course. It was intense. It was like 8 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And after I finished it took me about 3 months before I got my first job. So then, after having the savings from the UK, now I know that I have some assurance in that with a qualification I can start teaching. I started
Right.
work whilst I was building up my my business, online. So that was the very first stop to Spain, Malaga,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. We were just talking about Spain, and that's a country that we definitely have on our list.
Yeah.
But we've been there a couple times. We've been to Malaga, just stopped through. So I like that. And so what you're saying is you found a way to make money
Yeah.
while you go to your first stop.
Yeah.
And you also have some savings from the UK, but also you're working on a business in the background.
Yeah.
So it's not there's no one path to this. And I think that's really important because so many people ask, like, how do you sustain yourself? And it's like, well, what way do you want to do it?
Yeah, there are a multitude of ways
Multitude of
how you can sustain yourself, but you just need to plan it out.
Yeah.
And now I think it's easier for some people, but because of the advent of so many technologies, it's become a lot more open and accessible.
So you guys were living in Spain.
Yeah.
How long did you all stay?
I think we spent about 4 months in Spain totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you go back and forth in the beginning, or was it just like, hey, we are no longer renewing our lease, our mortgage, we are going to Spain, and then we'll figure it out from there?
We did go back to the UK quite often, but let's say maybe, I think every, I would like to say maybe 8 months to a year.
Yeah.
We went back to the UK because so many people just keep getting married.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Getting married, having kids.
And so we were returning quite often to the
Right.
UK, just for family and friends.
Yeah.
But
What was next on the list, and what made you decide to leave Spain?
well, our travel was slow travel. That's our type of travel because of our daughter. So we would usually spend between 3 to 4 months in any country.
Okay.
And we wanted to do that as well so that we could get a true essence and flavor of the country and what it's like to live there.
Yeah.
Not just to hop in and hop out a week. You don't really see anything. You don't really get a sense of the culture. So we wanted to fully, dip our feet in and get wet. So
Yeah.
speak to the people, the locals, understand certain traditions. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be a part of the communities
Yeah.
where we travel. No, we wanted, in a sense, it was our way of being traveling to some degree sustainably.
Right. And it takes a week or two to even get adjusted. Think about different time zones, and you have kids, you have to get them adjusted. You're not even really seeing anything until that third, fourth week. So
Exactly.
I totally agree with you there. And so you liked the culture of southern Spain and
Yeah.
built some community out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brother lives in Sevilla, and he's been there for years. And we visited him and lived with him for a short piece. Sevilla is extremely hot.
Extremely hot.
I know Jamaica is hot. I know Mexico is hot, but Sevilla is a different level of hot that I will not live in Sevilla. And it's not as diverse for me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't live there. However, they have the best churros in the entire world. I will say that.
The best
Churros.
churros.
And I will return on a flight for churros
What are
any day.
churros?
Churros.
Churro.
You're in Mexico, man. Come on. You have to
No,
roll your
no.
R's and churros.
No, that is not an R roll. That was true. You just left out a whole letter. But I did not like their churros.
I don't know where you went. I don't know where you
They did it
went.
differently. It was like fried and kind of plain.
I don't
And
know.
then-
Let me explain something to you because I love churros.
Me too.
They give you a bag full of churros.
It's the one where you dip you dip it in the chocolate, right?
I don't know where you went, but
Maybe I gotta go back.
You better go to the right place.
I definitely got to go back.
Yeah.
So you guys you wanted to slow travel, you wanted to see the world.
Yeah.
Was Southern was going to Southeast Asia? Was that right after?
Yeah. So Europe first, and then we touched different places in Europe. My lady knows the list like this off the back of her head.
And once you start traveling, you forget.
She doesn't. And I think because she spoke to and speak to a lot of people who keep asking her these particular questions.
Yeah.
So after a while, it embedded into her memory.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't really regurgitate it that often, but we did Turkey. I remember doing Turkey. I remember doing Greece. I remember doing where else? So Greece. Can't try to remember all the places there.
You did some
Europe.
Eastern Europe, some Northern Europe. Okay.
I did some of Europe, and then we went to Southeast Asia, and I love Southeast Asia.
Yes, I want to dive into Southeast Asia. My first question before we get into that is, when you left it, your daughter was 9 months, so she didn't even know any different than just travel.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Okay.
And the reason behind that is I do not like the traditional systems of schooling.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we should ensure that the foundations of our children are how we want them to be, rather than allowing the state to raise our children and setting their foundations, so that when they become fully grown adults, they will know who they are and they will know what they believe about themselves, rather than something being programmed into them, and then they're going to have to start having these misconceptions about themselves. My daughter is royalty. She's a queen. I've built those foundations from she was in the belly, reading books to her, having specific mantras from she was so small before she could speak, reminding her who she is, not just from a human level or being level, but from a spiritual level, because she's spirit first and then flesh. Making sure she understands that she is love. There's no differentiating that. She is happiness. There's no different. Everything is embodied within her because it is her, and this flesh is just built up on top. And aside to that, I wanted her to learn that, okay, you want to learn about our ancestors. Okay, cool. Let's go to Egypt. Let's go touch the pyramid. What's the point of going into a classroom, sitting down, flicking pages? You can't touch them.
Right.
And let's go speak to the people
in that region.
In the region,
right,
who know the true history.
The true history.
The true history. That's why we wanted her to, and she can become more well-rounded as a person and understand where she fits in this entire space that we call Earth, and in the many cultures.
One of the biggest things I want to instill in my kids, and I think that this travel lifestyle brings them, is to form their own opinions. You can go somewhere and instead of some ideology being taught that this is how you're supposed to view this subject, you get to go to that place, to that city, and you get to form your own opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that will take you so many places. Obviously reading and math and writing fundamentals.
Yeah, fundamentals.
And you all did the homeschooling
Yeah.
for the first what,
4.5
4.5 years.
I'm tired.
And that's a grind. Oh my God, that is a grind. That's a grind in itself. So we'll definitely touch more on the homeschooling bit.
All right, cool.
Let's get into Southeast Asia,
No,
culture shocks. I know you guys were excited to go,
Yeah.
but what country did you go to first, and what was the culture shock like for all of y'all?
Oh, okay, this is a good one. So we first went to Thailand.
Thailand.
I
Okay.
love Thailand. Culture shock. I thought I was calm. Brother man, I thought
man.
I was calm.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I first stepped into the hotel, and their culture is so respectful
Mm-hmm.
that there are different ways of greeting a man compared to greeting a woman.
Okay.
It's like masculine versus feminine. So the men, they put their hands together
Mm-hmm.
and they would bow and say Sawadee Krap.
Mm.
And for the women, they would say Sawadee Krap.
Mm.
Now, the culture shock came when I had a slight annoyance in the apartment. And I mentioned it to the receptionist. And it took about 2 days before it could be resolved. Now, coming from the West,
Right.
we have a certain expectation in things being done right now. And so when I returned on the third day, I'm like, I did say I had a problem with the apartment. No one has come to fix it yet. The way how this woman responded to me, you know, a dog with a tail that's just between their legs now?
Mm.
This woman got me to check myself just by being her absolute divine kindness. She literally was like, sorry, God. I'm very sorry for that, sir. We will get someone to come to you as soon as possible. The softness, the
Yeah.
kindness in
Yeah.
her tone, the respect in her tone. I returned to my room. I said, babe, I'm angry. I said, babe, I think I'm angry.
man.
And I didn't believe I was angry, but
Yeah.
the way in which she responded, and it's throughout Thailand. Not saying that there aren't people, who aren't more
Aggressive.
aggressive or rough,
Right.
but the general culture is of respect.
Mm.
And she made me check myself to where I said to myself, I need to work more on my inner peace. That's the first place and the first culture shock that I ever experienced.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing, because it truly tests your ability for patience. I'm extremely impatient, and my wife will get on me about it
This is
all the time. And in this travel lifestyle, you
Oh,
have to exercise that patience. I got a dose of it in Spain.
Yeah.
Just with they're very laissez-faire. No one's in a rush. They're taking naps in the middle of the day. But I can imagine Asia is definitely on our list. So
Yeah, different
So-
level. It's a different level.
Yeah.
You think naps are the thing that
Yeah.
got you patient? The energy there will get you.
how did you all? I mean, the time zone difference and being that far from friends and family. I know you had some travel experience by the time you got to Thailand,
Yeah.
but did being that far away, how did that affect y'all?
So this was quite challenging as well. Our families, they both sides, they didn't agree with what we were doing.
Mm.
My mother said, you've given me a grandchild and you're just taking away my grandchild from me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. However, this is our life. And we have to live
Yeah.
our life. They were very concerned. And rightly so, parents are supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my mom's friends saying to her that you pretty much did the same thing because you left Jamaica to go to the UK.
Mm.
The only difference with what I'm doing it on a permanent way where I'm going from country to country to country to
Right.
country, while she went to one stop. Um, that's it.
Did you ever experience that isolation being in a new city, like not knowing the language? I found that certain points in my journey, I just wouldn't want to talk to people anymore. I was tired of butchering Spanish so much that I'd get out in the world and it's like I'm not even feeling it today. And then before you know it, the only person I've talked to for the day was my wife.
No, I never. I think I started and I put a statement to my mind or determination in that I don't care if I butcher your language. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Because I said to myself, I'd rather butcher your language and try so that you know that I am trying and I believe
Yeah.
that you would appreciate me trying rather than. And I did this specifically because the British people have a tendency or expectation when they travel and go to other countries. Oh, you don't speak English?
Americans too.
And
Yeah.
that is rude. I
Extremely
think because I find it offensive when you go to another person's country to expect them to speak your language. So therefore, I will crash course 24 to 72 hours and I will butcher your language as much as possible so that you understand that I am making an effort and I respect you and your country.
Right.
So I never felt concerned, scared, or worried. I would, even in Turkey, I'm talking a whole lot of rubbish.
For me, it's sign language.
Yeah, but
I'm a sign language. You know, I'm making up. Exactly. Pulling my phone out. Here's a picture of what I'm talking about because you have to. Like you said, it's a lot of nonverbal communication, and you get by. It's crazy how helpful people really are.
That's what I am saying.
When they realize, like, oh, you don't speak the language. And it's like everyday people who have been working all day are going out of their way to help you.
Helpful. Extremely helpful.
I have noticed that, and it's made me realize, like, you know,
your preconceived notions were wrong.
Wrong, extremely wrong, extremely wrong. Because you're going to places where you're hearing that these people are unfriendly. You know, that's what they tell you, or you know, you're going to places and thinking that you're just being a burden. When in reality, everybody is, like you said in the beginning, they have their basic needs and their basic wants. And it doesn't change country to country, which is amazing. Yeah. And I don't want to ramble and get off track. So Southeast Asia, Thailand,
good food.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Did you all ever touch Japan?
No, it's on the list. We wanted to go in the Olympics. 20, I can't remember which year the Olympics were.
Yeah.
But then the prices just
skyrocket
too high. But it's on the list.
Okay.
So I want it because it has a very big Jamaican community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite city in Thailand?
Koh Samui.
Koh Samui?
Koh Samui.
Koh Samui, okay.
No, wait. No, Chiang Mai.
Okay.
Chiang Mai is my favorite. And also there's a melanated community there that meets up every Sunday to have Sunday dinner.
I know that the community out in Thailand is getting big. It's getting really big in all different parts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what? How long did you guys stay in Thailand?
We did 2 stints.
Okay.
Each time, and I think it was approximately in total 7 or 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to say, is that when y'all started focusing more on content creation?
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's where I remember seeing you guys, on YouTube at least.
Yeah, yeah. We were in a very, very good place. The rental prices were amazing. The food price. We didn't cook a single day, and I love to cook.
Yeah.
I cook every day here.
Yeah.
But because it was so cheap there, we had so much more time freed up. So we could then get to, be at ease, at peace, and then record and document our journey.
Yeah.
And show that to those who are considering this path.
Absolutely. And were you teaching English? So like from Spain and in Thailand, were you still teaching English, or was it mostly the business that you were focused on?
Both, but I was still teaching English
Yeah.
because although we had savings, I wanted to ensure that we had income
Yeah.
coming in because otherwise it would just be outgoings.
Yeah, exactly. So you're able to take those certifications, like from what is it? Is it Telfar or
It was TEFL. So I
yeah,
did a TEFL
certification?
certification. You have a number of others, but it's
Right.
basically teaching English as a foreign language.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. So okay, so Thailand, you guys are out there in Thailand.
Yeah.
What where to next, or what inspired y'all to leave? If y'all did 2 stints, sounds like you loved it,
We
but you
loved
just
it.
had more world to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is it. The world is so vast,
Yeah.
and although we really loved it, we wanted to just continue exploring because this is why we got onto the journey. We have this crazy idea that one day we have done it. Yet. One day we're gonna get a globe and spin it,
Stop
put a
it.
finger in it, or go to the airport. Don't know where we're going. Look
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
That's one of my dreams.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
We just wanted to see more of the world, continue exploring
Mhm.
because the content that we got in Thailand, if we had stopped before we got to Thailand, we wouldn't have been able to experience that.
Yeah.
Like the rice fields
Mm.
when we're showing people different how the process of where your rice is coming from. That did that in Bali.
Wow.
So it's about the experiences.
Yeah. Man, you got me ready to book a plane ticket right now.
Yeah.
Ideally, just big picture, you know what I mean? If you could just wave the wand and say, this is what I want in 5 to 10 years, do you want your kids to grow up and go to school traditionally? Do you want to homeschool? What ideally do you want like life to look like out of this lifestyle that we built?
That is such a loaded question.
It is.
A lot has happened to my wife and myself since we've been traveling.
Yeah.
And where we are right now, we are going by the seasons, we're going by the universe. Right now, it feels aligned to be in Mexico. And
Okay.
so, with that alignment, this is where we are. If the time and when the time comes that we no longer feel aligned in Mexico because we need to move to continue our development or growth,
Hmm.
we will move. So, answering a question about 5 years down the line, it is a little tricky because we do not ascribe to that type of program goal setting anymore.
Yeah.
What I will say is where I want to be is in a better version of myself in all of the departments, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, and from a family point of view, a better dad, a better husband. For my kids, I want them to continue on the path that I've laid out for them. The only requirement I have for my children is for them to be able to listen to any information and for them to think about it and for them to make up their own mind about
Yeah.
it. That is my only desire. And of course, my second one is for them to be linguists. I
Mhm.
would really love
Oh
that.
my God, I think that'd be so cool.
I would love that. My daughter is like 90%
Yeah.
fluent right now
Yeah.
in Spanish, so I would love for her and my son
Yeah.
to be linguists because I think the doors just open up so much
So
more.
much. I think it's a powerful skill to have.
It
You know, even if you can learn three to four, I mean, you know, the world is your limit, but
It is.
it is truly a powerful gift. And I like that answer, honestly. Like, people ask me that all the time, and I just wanted to see where you're So where do you want to go next? What do you want to do, you know, in 3 years? And it's like, look, you know, I'm here now. It feels good to be here now.
Exactly.
And honestly, that is how we should look at it. You know, when you live in the UK, people aren't asking you, how long are you going to be here? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
This is where I live.
This is where I live.
So,
I think there's one thing I want to touch on.
Yeah.
From our journey, because we've been asked so many questions from a sustainability point of view, we've taken the last 5 years and we've put that into my lady has done this amazing job at creating this resource that basically walks you through every single question and tackling every single fear you may have if you were thinking about this lifestyle. So, how do you actually do it?
Yeah.
She's created this for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Just finished it of how to actually do this lifestyle, but also there's a sustainability section
Yeah.
as well where she's like, okay, all of our income streams, we have 11 income streams right now,
Yeah.
4 passive, and the rest we have to turn up to
Yeah.
earn. But from our time being on the road and learning different ways of making money, we've put together a resource where people can learn how to be sustainable on this journey. We are just about embarking on a 12-month journey where we are going to be testing out different money-making ideas,
Yeah.
documenting them
Yes.
for doing 1 month at a time for
Yeah.
each idea, so that people can see a whole year's worth of different ideas to see if they work, what worked, what didn't work, and should you consider these ideas in the space of making money and how much time you have to invest and how much finance you potentially have to invest. I want to look at things that you don't have to invest so much money in,
Right.
and you don't have to invest so much time
All of your
in.
time in. Right.
Yeah, that's
And-
what we're going on.
And
That's the
I
journey.
think that's a very needed guidebook. You know, it sounds like it's touching on not only the emotional aspect, where big fear plays into this, also how do you sustain yourself, but giving people examples.
Yeah.
Because when left, it's like we have Google at our fingertips. Now we have Chat GPT at our fingertips, but we don't always have the creative mindset
Yeah,
to think about a business idea that could be so simple, you know? And
exactly.
so I think that is definitely needed in the content space because so many people out here are influencers and are like, look at this beach, look how beautiful this is,
We
this
don't do that.
monument. And I'm getting out of that too, where it's like, if I go to a new city or country and I don't want to go to this museum, I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's the Eiffel Tower, whatever, you know, big monument it is, I do what I came here to eat some good food.
Exactly. I can show you the good food,
Yeah,
but I'm also going to show you how to do it yourself.
exactly.
I know there's no point in me showing them, oh, Mexico is great, if I can't show you how to come and enjoy it yourself too.
Yes.
That's
yes.
what I am about. I'm about showing you the dream and the how
The how.
to live your version of your
Right.
dream.
Because otherwise you're kind of just flexing.
Showing off for people. Like, no, come, bro. Come, sis.
Yes,
Come and live
yes.
this too.
Yes.
No, what? Listen, you think that just because you have a child, your life is over and you have to stay put, you're fixed. No. You
Mhm.
think that just because you have a relationship your partner isn't willing to go traveling, your life is fixed. No,
Yeah.
remember, this is your life. And this is another thing, another touch point. There are many people in relationships who don't have the right partner
Mhm.
to support them in their development and what they want to do,
Mhm.
and they feel stuck. But remember, you only have one life.
You do.
So you can either slowly break it to them that you want to go traveling, and we can touch on that in a deeper detail, but explain the reason why, because we have to grow as beings, and the only way to do that is to follow what's on your heart, because it's on your heart for a reason.
Yeah. It's a lot of being wrapped up in that fear of XYZ, whether it's your kids,
Yeah.
your relationship,
Your
your family
your
not
friends,
supporting you, not
your
believing in
work.
you. Yeah, and it's I think a mindset shift. I think it was easier for me because I work, with my wife as a team and we both were aligned on this and our family was supportive, but I had a ton of fear
Yeah.
around how this is going to affect my kids, around, how it's going to affect me financially. This is the
Yeah.
first year where I'm not working a 9 to 5.
Yeah. That must be scary.
And I love it. But no, I mean, there's pros and cons to it,
Yeah.
right? I'm not living as lavishly,
Yeah.
sometimes as if
But
I
that's the
wanted to.
But that's the next part.
Yeah, but how do you live within your means
Exactly.
without the 9 to 5? Or how do you live within your means with a 9 to 5 and
Exactly.
stack it up?
Exactly. What's the
So-
objective for me?
Yeah,
Helping people. You asked about 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that my I'm on a mission to become for us, my family and I, to become an idea.
Mm.
And that idea is that if I can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
And not just to say it, but to provide a space whereby we can support you in getting to what you define as this is what my happiness looks like.
Yeah.
And we'll support you in getting there.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, and that's what we're going to do.
A resource. I think I know how I'm going to title this episode.
Beautiful, man.
I do think we got to cut it here
Yeah.
because I'm sure the kids are going to be a lot, but we covered a lot.